Hello, everybody. Gail Zintek here, and I'm here with my great friend, Roxie Knight, who is a realtor in Minnesota. I met Roxie in, oh my goodness, in the group, Rockstars, Real Estate Rockstars with Coach Barino. Rest in peace, Coach Barino. And so, Roxie, you and I have been connected through social media. We've never met in person. But I feel like if I did hug you, it'd be like I've hugged you 100 times. So
Kay had asked me that. She said, had you ever met Gail in person? I went, yeah. I went, that's right. I haven't.
So Roxie's, here's the powerful thing about, we're both realtors for a number of years. I just put my license in a holding company. And so I can't say I'm a realtor right now, but I was a realtor for 18 years. And but I have a network of amazing realtors that I've met in this industry across the United States, around the world. And there is value in building relationships to grow a referral business. Like when my friends, lifelong friends, really, the Laymans, Kay and Ken, and their daughter Karen, asked. I knew Karen when she was just a little girl, and they said, "Do you have anybody in Minnesota?" And I was like, "Well, I knew immediately Roxie's in Minnesota. Minnesota's big. People go, oh yeah, Gail's in Michigan, but there's like a certain area in Michigan that Steve and I work, and so I reached out to Roxie. Roxie is very familiar with the area where Ken's brother was needing to sell a home. So right now you've got their home listed, and
Yay.
It's been a very blessed connection, because yesterday my friend Kay texted me how wonderful you are, Roxie, and what a great fit you were. And I was right. So y'all know that I have some pretty good, strong indicators on who's a great fit for you out there. But Roxie, thank you for taking care of my friends.
Oh, thank you for the referral. I appreciate it. It's going to be fun when it closes. And I just feel blessed to have met them. They're such awesome people.
Yes. And, when you are awesome, you attract awesome people. And I feel like I'm blessed to have attracted friends like you into my life. And today we're going to talk about health and wellness, because as real estate agents, would you not agree that a lot of times we put everybody else before we put ourselves, because we're servants. We have a servant's heart. We're serving other people at different levels and what their needs are, and we don't always put our needs first. And Roxie, tell me about your life and your health, and where you're at right now, where you've been, where you're at, and what do you foresee in your future, health wise and fitness wise?
Okay. Where was I? Who was Roxie? Growing up, I grew up in northern Minnesota. I have two parents that both have eating disorders. My father actually is one of the first people in Minnesota to have a gastric bypass surgery. And they didn't have, that I'm aware of, support groups for overeaters or anything like that back in that time. So I saw this man who had this surgery and can't eat and go throw up, eat and go throw up. I just had such warped perception of food and health. There was this huge disconnect. And so that's where I came from. I think the only thing that saved me is that I'm such an energetic person. I just really don't like to sit, and that I've always doing things. And so I've always been really, really active. I've always loved the cardio side of working out. And, I struggle getting into that weightlifting stuff, and I'm still kind of working on that. But yeah, so I had just really warped perceptions on how much is a normal eating. And I had a lot of bad tapes playing in my head, really a lot, oh, I can't do that. This doesn't taste good. It's only a little bit. Well, I only ate one cinnamon roll. Got all this tapes playing in my head with food. It's just taken me a really long time, and I'm old, I'm 59. But the realization of, I think I've got this problem with food is when I got older, like about 45, and the weight doesn't come off it like it used to, no matter how busy you are, the exercising, and there has to be a shift. And so then this book, and for the help of Gail, really started to make me realize that it's not really even how little you eat, it's what you're eating. It's like I didn't get it. It was what we're in the 80s, 90s, when I was raising my kids too, it was all this artificial food came out, and it was presented to us as mother's helper, right? This is for the busy mom. This is hamburger helper. It helps you. These things are put in a can to make your life easier. This is preservative, and all you do is pop it in the oven to make your life easier. Nobody talked about all the issue stuff in it. So I've been starting to realize, especially reading this book, it's like, I get it. It's not, I don't believe what they say, like if you could eat at McDonald's and lose weight, you're not going to be healthy. It's like I'm understanding more so now that the fuel we put in our body is like gas. Either got good gas or the wrong gas, and then the right gas when it's running lean. I'm getting that. And then to get all those ugly tapes out of my head, I know probably a year ago, the first time I talked to you about, like, if somebody presented me with this wonderful diet, maybe it would last through breakfast, because I swear I had a devil sitting on my shoulder going, well, that's not going to work for you. Like, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that good food. You got to eat that. How can you deprive yourself? That's not good. That it's just this, I don't know what the word is. This madness was going on in my head. And I really swear that the only thing that brought peace is God. I needed to pray for that peace. And I needed to have people like you in my life to say, Roxie, I went through that too. And this is what I did. And I made this connection. And this is how I got my help. I had to have those healthy minded people in my life. And I thank you so much for that, for helping me with that. That's kind of a long story about a lot of, we could talk for days, you know that.
You're welcome. And thank you for being in my life. I think we all, iron sharpens iron, and we benefit from one another. The book Roxie's talking about, you held it up. I don't know if people saw it. It's called I'll Start Again Monday. And how many of us have always said, oh, I'll start my diet Monday. And then we start our diet Monday and we're gung-ho. And then Tuesday, we're like, wow, I feel great. I'm in it. And Tuesday's great. Wednesday's pretty good. You get your commitments in, but you're starting to get bombarded with other things that are coming up in your life. And then by Thursday, Friday, it's been a long week. I'm just going to order pizza, and then you'll start again Monday. And I too appreciated reading this book. And, one of the quotes in there is, you were made for more. And I don't know, ladies, if you're listening to this and you feel inside, I remember feeling that I was made for more when I was 57, and I said, I need to do something about the way I'm feeling. I didn't feel great inside. I had inflammation. My body hurt. I didn't have energy. I sat around the couch. I was very productive. And here's what I want to say. You can be very highly successful as a business owner, as a woman, as a mom, as a grandma, as a wife, as a business partner. You can be highly successful, but not fulfilled within yourself. And I knew I was made for more. I knew I was better than what I was choosing to live my life as. And there's some great scriptures in here, if you're a spiritual person, that one of them was, everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. That was one of them that stood out for me. And, we always think that when we go on a diet, or we got to quit something, we got to erase something from our regimen, where if we get to the point where we understand food, like Roxie, I loved how you described Hamburger Helper. It was convenient, it was nutritious, it was quick and easy,
Portable.
and it was And it was like BS. It's not. It was just marketing and branding. And I had this epiphany just this week as I was shopping. It was probably 8 years ago where I started to feel annoyed going to the grocery store. Roxy, have you ever felt annoyed when you go in the grocery store?
Yeah, like always.
I'm like, well, but I was annoyed. And that was a little shift in my mind and my thought pattern. But my habits were so strong, that little person on your shoulder, that reptilian brain in there that says, oh, but this is comfortable. This is easy. This is familiar. This tastes good. All those things. And then and the other side is going, well, read the label. You can't even pronounce the ingredients on that can, on that box. And you're going to put that in your body and it's not great for you. And the other side's going, but it's easy and it's convenient. And so you've got that battle going on. And so I remember thinking, I'm annoyed, but I would still go back down the soda aisle, down the processed food aisle. The best grilled cheese is, after all, is made with Velveeta, right? So like all of these things that we have a habit of, and then we know inside that it's probably not our best use of, when you talk about fuel, the right kind of fuel, we know if we're being honest with ourselves, it's not the right kind of fuel, but we don't know what to do about it. And so we continue to go through the aisles and shop and pull these pretty things down and the convenience of it until you don't. And my realization this week at the grocery store was it's really easy for me to push my cart right through those aisles. And I don't even really look at what's on the shelf. I don't give my attention to that because I'm looking for the foods that I know that are going to fuel me. And that's usually over in the produce section, in the lean meat section, some things over in the dairy section, the eggs, but it doesn't take as long now to shop because I'm not distracted by so many things. But that's the habit switch. It took really the last 8 years to create that new habit in my life. So don't feel frustrated that it's not coming fast enough, because at 62, I'm worth it. And it is worth it. It is worth it to go through the shift, even if it's a slow process. So one of the things, Roxy, that we talked about, I have a question for you. In your normal everyday life, did you have inflammation in your body?
Horrible inflammation in my body. My joints hurt so bad, and I would lay in bed and I had asked my husband, I said, do you feel like, I feel like I got sparks shooting off my hip bones. He goes, what? I said, my feet hurt so bad that even the sheets and blankets at night cause pain. That's bad. And I didn't know. And I think that so many people are like this, is that they do not associate food with that. They go to the doctor and get medication to make it better, and then they can't figure out why they're not better or why they're on 32 different pills. Like my mother is on 32 pills. 32. Actually, in a way, it's helped me to be around the nursing home because I see these people and their relationship with these pills, and that's another story. But yeah, huge inflammation. And I had to go get another x-ray on my foot from my knee surgery. And he said, you have so much arthritis in your feet. And I'm like, oh, and you've got so much inflammation in your toes. I'm like, who has inflammation in their toes? Like, I thought it was supposed to only be like in my hips or something, not my toes too. Yeah, really in a lot of pain. And Gail, I did that detox for 5 days. I was so good for 5 days, and then I had to go out of town, which threw everything wonky. But here's what happened. 5 days on that detox. Day two, my stomach felt good. It's like, oh, and my pants just buckled. Like I didn't lose 30 pounds. It was just day 2.
Mm-hmm.
But the bloating, and day 3, even sitting on the airplane, my feet didn't hurt. And I slept that night and I didn't wake up. This is how could it be, right? I texted him like, I can't believe this is only like day 3 and I'm not in pain. And I'm not in pain right now when I sit here talking to you either. And then I went to that conference and we were fed, we had the breakfast there and the lunch there and I was dying, sandwiches, chips, all this stuff. I actually just took the meat and cheese out of my sandwich. And on the second day, I just couldn't do it. I was back to being in pain. Absolutely. Like my joints hurt to write the notes. And I was sitting, I hurt so bad when I went to bed that night. Like I hurt huge. I guess God's perfect timing, right, Gail? Maybe I wouldn't have even recognized that. But just to be completely free, I don't know what happens in our body, but obviously it wasn't really affecting me for that quickly just to get it out. And now I'm finding like, I think that we used to feel uncomfortable if we're hungry or that lightness in our stomach. And it even talked about this in this book, that what a good feeling it is now not to have all that heaviness in that area. It's like, oh, it feels so good. It just really feels good. So yeah, I can talk a lot about inflammation, and I'm not even taking Tylenol or nothing. And I don't have pain.
And did you take Tylenol before you did the detox?
Yeah, all the time. I had to. I hurt so bad. I just didn't know, why do I hurt so bad? And Gail, you can go to the doctor, and do you think the doctor tells you it's the food you're eating? I don't get that.
You bring up a great point. I have an amazing doctor, Dr. Stephen Osterhout, who is where I started my health journey when I was fed up, and I said, I put down my credit card and I said, I'm going to pay somebody to tell me how to eat, because I knew it had to do with nutrition. I had gotten to that point. And, I remember I had gone through that, and then I kind of relapsed a bit, because we do.
Yep.
Like that's our habits. We have to go through processes to build better habits that serve our life. But I remember I had a frozen shoulder, and I can remember I played euchre with some of my lady friends, and Cindy was a physical therapist. And I said, I can't even, wow, if I reach back like that, it just sends pain through my shoulder. And so she would give me some exercises to do to unfreeze that shoulder. I went to a physical therapist, a really great one, a friend of mine, and she worked on it. She did electrode, she hooked up the electrodes, and she buzzed my muscles to get things to break up and to move. And I remember going to Dr. O, and I looked at him, I said, I have a feeling that if I eliminate grains, flour, and sugar from my life, that it's going to be better, right? Because he was even saying, well, you could try the PRP, the platelet rich plasma. They take your plasma, they spin it, and they inject it back in to your body. I said, and it's expensive. It's like $3,500 a pop, and it's not covered by insurance generally. And I said, I imagine if I stopped eating flour and sugar that I might see some results. And I can remember him saying, but most people aren't willing to do that, Gail. And so I don't believe that they're not willing. They've got to be trained through the process. You've got, maybe you go through the process of the detox several times. Roxie, you lasted 5 days. This is the one this is the one I did back, 5 years ago. And it's a 3 to 14 day detox, phase 1, 3 to 14 days. And here's the great news. It's food. Did you find that interesting, Roxie, that you actually got to eat food on a detox?
Right. That's why I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. And I could even eat an orange. Are you kidding me? I love oranges. I have been ignoring fruit for so long because, fruit is sugar. And I'm like, yeah, what? I can eat a fruit? I love it.
So I did go through this. I went through the detox, and then there's a phase 2, where you get to add more things back in. But really the phase one is you're eliminating caffeine, dairy, grains, sugar,
Flour.
yeah, and alcohol and caffeine. And so when you think about that, a lot of people, that's all they eat. So that it could be
Right.
it could be hard. But when you focus on what you can have versus what you can't have, I think that's where the magic happens. And my friend Michelle, she's shopping today. She's like, detox starts tomorrow. And I'm really proud of people who can take control of their life. And like I say, this is 3 to 14 days. You will, chances are, get headaches, get really frustrated and angry and edgy because your body's going through a detoxification. Did you, Roxie, have any of those side effects?
I don't know if this is going to be like anybody else. It was nothing compared to the pain that I've been having with inflammation. So for me, I just kept feeling better every day. I don't know, Gail. I think I was just at that point and so ready where I wasn't even paying attention to that stuff. I needed it so badly. And yeah, so no, I didn't.
You know, a lot of people will suffer from headaches, or fatigue or an upset stomach, especially coming off of sugar and caffeine, because they're very addictive. They're very addictive foods. And, you know, as a society, we used to consume maybe 5 pounds of sugar a year. Now we consume like 150 pounds of sugar a year. It is, everything that we consume has sugar in it. Just pick up anything you buy at the store and turn the label over. You're gonna find some kind of sugar listed, or even worse yet, artificial sweeteners that they've put in things. So and we have tremendous obesity and health problems. Oh, and by the way, I don't have a frozen shoulder anymore because I don't eat perfectly, but just at that moment in time for my body, eliminating those things really caused healing to take place within there. So I've experienced it, you've experienced it. And I just want to encourage those of you who are listening to this, you know, if you have knee pain, if you have hip pain, if you know, you think, oh, I'm getting old and I need a knee replacement, perhaps if you would do a detox. You know, my friend Wendy introduced me to Whole30, which is a whole nother kind of eating plan. And I highly recommend the book. It starts with food. And I highly recommend it on Audible for a couple reasons. One is, if I was reading that book, I would get so stopped by all the big words they use and the medical terminology. But when you're listening to it, it just kind of passes you by. And even though you might not absorb all of it, you get the gist of how food is affecting your body. And they have so many testimonials in there, people who with rheumatoid arthritis, with all kinds of inflammatory diseases that simply dissipate when they eliminate things from their diet that is causing the inflammation in the body. So that's, you know, I'll start again Monday is a story that Lisa tells. It's she is a believer in Jesus and a Christian, and she tells her story from that point of view and how she was able to overcome poor eating habits to live a life that is free and energetic and fun. And so that's,
I think a weird part about this book, and you know, I've read so many self-help books. What I liked about this is just the connection. I don't know. It was just such an easy read, and you could just feel like she was your best friend just by reading it. It feels to me like the health and fitness industry is always all these perfect people. You know, they're just like, I don't think they were ever overweight. I don't think they ever struggled with, you know, gosh, being raised by two people with eating disorders, it's a lot to overcome. It's not, it just doesn't come so easy. Or, yeah, she was just a normal person. And I was able to connect so easily with her. I don't know why. I thought that she was writing this book from my perspective.
I did too. In many areas, I'm like, she just
Right?
said what I've been thinking for a
Yes.
long time.
Yes.
So yes, I think that as women, we can resonate with people who have gone through that before. So, you know, I wanted to share, you know, chat with Roxie today because I know that her sharing with me, Roxie, the successes that you have had in just simply eliminating things for a period of time, and then building on the mindset that your body, you are important enough to treat yourself and maybe go through some discomfort, because it's not easy. Getting healthy is not easy when you have neglected yourself, when it's become a habit to neglect yourself day after day, month after month, year after year. For decades, I neglected myself. And over the past 5 years, when I, you know, made a decision to detox, to design the life I wanted to live. I mean, my at that time 4-year-old granddaughter sat on my lap, poking at my tummy, saying, "Grandma, what's that?" And it devastated me. Like, I knew I was better than that. I didn't want her to, you know, I didn't want to admit to my own granddaughter that I was fat, you know, that I was fluffy. You know, there's lots of words you can say, but now Piper's 10, 6 years into the future, and like, we go play together, we have fun together, we run, she dances, and it's different conversations around that. So I just want to encourage those of you who are listening to this replay, welcome to the replay, and know that it's never too late to start. And we always meet you where you're at. Meet yourself where you're at. Identify where you're at. Acknowledge where you're at and say, you know what, I was made for more. And find the determination within you to maybe it's trying a detox for 3 to 14 days. Maybe it's, you know, finding a friend that will, you know, kind of be your accountability buddy and lock arms with you, and someone you can share your journey with. Maybe it's just finding a book like I'll Start Again Monday, and you read through it and you realize that you're not alone. You're not the only one in that position, and that you can move forward, and that you can have the life that you really choose, that you want to live. So
One,
what's next for Roxie?
one statement here that she had in the book, at towards the end, is she wrote, "Not starting again Monday, but starting right now."
Mm-hmm. Just
That hit with me like, what am I doing? I don't need to wait till Monday. I don't need to, and even if I screw up, I will tell you one thing that I've learned, and I'm not the kind of person that goes out to a restaurant and orders broccoli. I'm just saying. And that was another thing too. We grew up very poor, so when you went out to eat, you're spending money on something that better be worth it. You know, you got to order all these weird things that you wouldn't eat at home. But I had 2 occasions last week where we had to go out, and both of them, ironically, were Asian restaurants, and that's a lot of rice and noodles. And I ordered chicken on a stick and broccoli. And everyone looked at me like I was weird because we're eating out. And I said, this is really good. And then the freedom that I felt from that. So here came the second night on Saturday night when my husband and I had a commitment to go out to eat. And I thought, oh, I don't know if I can do this twice in a week. What am I going to do? I looked at the menu. There was absolutely nothing healthy on there. And so I just asked the guy, say, could you stir fry up some vegetables, like some broccoli and bamboo shoots, and I don't want any rice, I don't want any sauce on it. And then how about like just a grilled chicken breast? He goes, yeah, yeah, we can do that. And I ate it, and I thought, God, I felt so powerful. I never felt powerful over food. Like you would go out and eat, and you'd feel guilty, you'd feel sick, you'd feel frustrated with yourself. You knew you weren't supposed to eat that, but you did anyway because everybody else was. There was nothing fun about going out and eating, which is why I was drudging it. Oh, I'm gonna have to eat deep dish pizza, or I'm gonna have to do this. In fact, we had pizza. I ate the cheese and the meat off of it, and I didn't eat the rest. I really felt good about myself, and I've never felt good about myself going out to eat ever. It's always been, here starts the guilt, here starts the shame, all that cycle.
So what's the difference in you, because it really comes down to the choices that you have made when you're going out to eat is what makes the difference in how you feel, your power in how you feel. So what's the difference now? Like how are you able to make those choices for yourself now that you couldn't do before?
It's just God's perfect timing. It was just absolutely God. It was just reading this book and having it go, if not today, when, Roxie? When? I'm 59. I've had this battle going on, with cortisol and type 2 diabetes and all that. And like, what's it going to take? Are you going to be like your mother who just refuses to believe that the food that she's eating causes her inflammation? And so she takes all these pills all day long. Is that who you want to be like? Her ankles are so swollen from water retention. She's got gout, everything from eating bad. That's my future. I don't want to be her. I do not want to be her. I don't. So it was just talking with you, listening to what you have to say, knowing that that's my future and I am not going there. I'm not. And then it's almost like being reborn. I was like I said, day 2, I woke up like, I don't hurt. I don't know how could it even happen that quickly. Maybe all the water just is flushing that stuff out. I don't know how it could happen that quickly. Day 2, Gail, I didn't hurt. Talk about motivation. And then to go to that conference, and I texted you, I said, Gail, I feel sick. And I did feel sick. They were bringing in all the food. There was nothing healthy. It was what everybody loves to eat, all that crap. And eating it and just feeling sick again. My feet hurt so bad. I had to take them off on the airplane. I'm just like, oh, I just hurt. And there I was. I'm like, this isn't working for me. Now I know what is working for me. And that's what I'm choosing.
So you're no longer tolerating the inflammation and the poor habits, and to shift to these positive habits has given you immediate results. So those of you watching, if you don't have immediate results in 2 days, keep going, because it's worth it. You're worth it. And there's a reason that you're being drawn to this conversation.
Gail, and another thing, I take my blood sugar 3 times a day. My blood sugar this morning was 104. So the proof is in the pudding. I mean, I woke up at mornings and my blood sugar was at 289. That's bad. It's been something that I've been working with, and now it's like 104, 89. I've never had my blood sugar be under 100 ever since the 1.5 years I've been taking it. And I'm like at 89.
Amazing.
And I'm not taking medication for it. It's food. Type 2 diabetes is driven by food and what you eat. It's not something because you're 45 and it happens to you. It's brought on by food.
So what's next for Roxie?
Well, you've been encouraging me to lift weights and I got to do it. I just don't like it. But you know what? Good, because like I think I posted today. How did that? I listened to David Goggins because he's such a hard ass. I love it. What did he say again? He said, if your goal doesn't give you fear that you can't reach it, that's not a goal. That's your problem.
Right. And if it's tough, then it's probably worth it. Outside of your comfort zone.
Yes.
I jumped back into 30-minute body weight workouts last week, did five days in a row. I showed up this morning. I even ordered myself 3, 5, and 8 pound dumbbells that I could start implementing into my movements. And it's not easy. I did that for a year and a half straight, sometimes twice a day. It was easy. Getting back into it, it's not easy, but I know it's worth it. And it's almost a internal challenge to myself to, what else can you do?
Yeah.
I have an idea of weightlessness. It was a word, I believe, given to me by God in 2020, weightlessness. And I remember telling Coach Steve, I said, weightlessness. Like, it just came to me. He said, what does that mean to you? And I remember thinking, I don't know what I'm not there, and I don't know what it means, but I know when I'll get there. And I watched my granddaughter, Kendall. She's 9 now. She was 7 at the time. Kendall is this little bitty thing, but she is strong. She is determined. She controls her body. And I'm like, Kendall's weightless. Like when you see those people that can do the pull-ups and like they're strong, they can handle their body. They have internal strength, external strength. And I believe that that's in my future. And it's going to take time, energy, and effort to get there. But it's going to take that resistance training, Roxie. So
I know. And I even canceled the membership to the gym. I thought, I hate this. I don't want to do it. I just want to do my walking. I don't want to do it. And I went, okay, I called them up and like, yeah, okay, it's me again. Just remove that cancellation. I'll be there.
and okay, so and keeping the small promises, because really when you're not doing anything, I remembered, 2.5 years ago, I did not move my body. I thought I could do it all through nutrition. I could reach all my goals, my desires through nutrition. And part of that is because it hurt to move. I didn't want to move. And when I started moving, it still hurt. But now it's like, it's easy to get out and go for a walk and to move my body every day. It's hard not to. So when you swap that around, what once was easy, sitting on the couch, eating prepared or processed food, going out to eat 3 to 5 nights a week, that was easy, but it resulted in a hard life. Inflammation, lack of energy, poor self-esteem, to shopping for food, preparing food, reading labels on food. That's hard. It's time consuming, but it's led to an easier life. More energy, more self-confidence, and it's worth it. So figure that if you're being drawn into this conversation and you're going, I wish I had what Roxie has. I wish I felt like Roxie. I wish I could do what Roxie did. You can, because if it's a thought that's being born in you and a feeling that's being born in you, you have everything you need to fulfill your successes in your journey in life through health and fitness. I promise you. I promise you. Roxie, what's some last words you'd like to share?
I have written down, I'm, you were made for more, and I'm doing what that lady said every time in the book. Lisa said, every time I'm tempted, I just, I was made for more. And I have that written, like I have it written down here too. Who are you choosing to be? Because it's a choice. Who are you choosing to be? So I have that written so I don't forget about that. And if I hear negative things, I wrote down, I'm not available for that, because I do believe in the power of handwriting things down. So I wrote that. Who are you choosing to be? And then for negativity, I have it written down. When I start feeling negative, I'm not available for that. And then I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do all things. Why was I relying on myself to knock this guy off my shoulder? I should have been praying about it. It probably would have ended right there. So it's all up here. And I tell you, Gail, I have prayed to feel like this for years. I don't know why it took so long. I don't know why all of a sudden the light came on, but I'm just grateful that it did. And I'm going to believe that someday there's a reason for it. Maybe I can help somebody else. I don't know. But talk about a struggle. I mean, I've talked to you, what, a year ago? Gail, how do I do this? I don't know what's going on. I got to take all these pills. I got type 2 diabetes. I don't know what to do, you know, and you were so patient and how you just talked with me.
And it is a process. And we ask the more questions we ask ourselves and the more affirmations that we have for ourselves, the more we get to know who we are through our true identity, and who we are choosing to become makes a tremendous difference each and every day in our growth. So I'm proud of you, Roxie. Thank you for sharing your journey, a portion of it. And it's just beginning.
Yes, it is.
And we do have the ability, I believe we have the ability to open up the hearts and minds of other women who might be struggling as we have struggled in the past, and just grab that hand and help bring them up.
Another thing, Gail, that I forgot to mention, I wanted to make sure I mentioned, is talking about this, is remember I told you, Gail, I felt like a failure because I only lost 3 pounds and like you'd lost like 140 or something, really, you know, like, of course, right? I only lost 3 pounds, Gail. I don't know. I hope you didn't think I did something wrong. Measure yourself. I lost like 2.5 inches off my waist immediately. And I'm just glad that I did that.
Mm-hmm. So, and if you want a video or some of how to measure yourself, I can provide a video for you. I remember being at Coach Steve's house, and Coach Steve measured me to make sure I knew how, like I've been measuring myself for 2 years. And Roxie, you're so correct. It's, you know, sometimes the inflammation as it goes isn't through pounds, and it's through like the bloating just goes down. Drinking lots of water. We haven't talked about water. I disliked water. I didn't drink water. I drank coffee. All I drank was coffee when I, you know, quit having sodas years ago. And I thought, okay, I can drink black coffee, then yay me. But I remember exercising one day in the Eucalypts, and Coach Steve shouted out, if you're not sweating right now, you're dehydrated. And I was always proud of myself that I didn't sweat. Like, I don't perspire. I just like, I can go through all this stuff. I can do it. But when I started to drink water, 2 things happened. I started to sweat when I worked out. And I know this is silly, but my heels weren't cracked anymore. Like I was one that would have those cracky heels and get under the sheets, and it would like scratch on the sheets, and it'd drive me crazy. Or like I'd put my foot up against my husband and he'd go, man, then your feet are scratchy. And so smooth heels, like the only thing I can attribute that to is drinking more water. So know where you're at right now. Like if you say, oh, I drink probably 8 ounces of water a day. Well, could you do 32? Like, be mindful. On the detox, they want you to do 6 8-ounce glasses, or 64 ounces a day, I believe is what they want.
Yeah.
Detox. So 6 8-ounce glasses a day, or 8 times 8 is 64, 8 8-ounce glasses a day. So just keep water with you all the time and drink it. And if you know, I drink warm hot lemon water. It's kind of like a replacement of the coffee, but it still has this kind of the same effects for me, you know, warm cup, warm liquid. And so just try some of those things, and just reach out. If you have questions, reach out to Roxie, reach out to myself, and allow us to help inspire, encourage, and guide you along the way. Because we want the best for you too. Right, Rox?
No, absolutely. You help me, and if there's anything I can do to help someone, let me know. I think there's not I can't think of anything related to food or food trauma, food, whatever you want to call it, that I haven't been through or cannot relate to. All of it, all the miserable, stupid diets and all of that.
All right. Well, I would say it's a Monday.
Go make it a great day, right?
Go make it a great day. And
Thank you, Jill.
I appreciate you, Roxie. And ladies, reach out anytime. We're out.
Thank you. Bye.